I just started my fat loss phase, and in this video I want to show you what I'm meal prepping for this entire week and how you can actually continue to eat very flavorful and tasty food while seeing progress to make the process that much more sustainable. So the first meal is going to end up having bacon with eggs, some feta cheese, and it's going to be great. So I'm going to start off with the bacon. Center cut bacon. If you want the leanest cut, this is the way to go. In 2 pan fried slices, there's 80 calories, 7 grams of protein, and 6 grams of fat. So just the fact that there's less grams of fat than protein in this is pretty impressive for bacon. So I'm gonna cook up this entire pack. And when it does say pan fried on the label, that doesn't mean to cook the bacon and then cook your eggs in that grease. So we're gonna pan fry all these slices just so I don't have to cook the slices every single day, and I'll be able to just grab them out of the fridge for each specific omelet that I make. So let's get to frying. Hopefully we don't make too much of a mess. Here is the bacon. So now I do not have to make it fresh every single day. I'm just gonna store it in this Tupperware, and every day I'm gonna take out 2 slices and add it into my omelet. Just to simplify things a little bit, even though I am going to be making the omelet fresh every single day. Just because eggs are very quick and easy to make. For the omelet, I have 2 large eggs and some egg whites. And my favorite thing about omelets is that you can determine your protein to fat ratio and adapt accordingly. And if I wasn't utilizing bacon in this omelet, I'd probably have 1 extra whole egg just so for some additional fat, but I'm getting 6 grams of fat from the bacon. And then I'm gonna use 280 grams of egg whites. So before I even went shopping, I determined how many grams I was going to use of this after already tracking the 2 large eggs, just so I knew how many of these to buy. So 280 grams of egg whites, 2 large eggs. Let's get to cooking. And there you have an egg, spinach, bacon, feta omelet. And I'm gonna add one of these guac cups from Aldi. The ingredients are super clutch on these and they're so convenient. So I'm gonna be having one of these with my omelet every single day. And then also some blackberries for some additional nutrients as well as quality carbs. The macros are 646 calories, 64 grams of protein, 21 grams of carbs, and 32 grams of fat. As you can tell, it's a pretty dang low carb meal, but there's a reason for that, and you will see that in one of my later meals. I'll explain why I'm going about it that way. Just the fact that this is only 646 calories makes dieting that much easier. Like when you can eat this much volume for only that many calories, it just makes the process easy. And this is tasty too. It's not like it's some bland, gross something. Like bacon and feta cheese for the saltiness. Like my mouth is watering just thinking about taking the first bite. So I'm gonna dive in here very soon. But another thing you could add on that has no calories is some hot sauce. And you can always adjust the amount of carbs with this meal by adjusting fruit or maybe having toast on the side. So just play around with the numbers and you can make this a very versatile, macro-friendly meal, no matter what your macros are. For meals 2 and 3, I'm going to be using the grill. So I got chicken breast here for one of the meals and then some ground beef right here. And a tip, I probably mentioned it in a past video, but if you get your beef from a local farmer, rancher, or you like to buy like half a cow at a time, quarter cow, just track it as 90% lean and that will get you close enough. It is likely leaner, but I think it's always better to estimate that there's more fat than there is to ensure that you're getting in more protein than you're even guessing, if that makes sense. There we go. I'm just gonna make 4. Oh, that's still freaking frozen. Perfect. 2.5 pounds on the dot. So that's going to be 5 days worth, 8 ounces. 8 ounces each day. And then for the chicken, I'm going to prep 6 days worth, and I want to have 8 ounces per meal. So that's going to be 48 ounces or 3 pounds. So I guess I might just cook this later because I'm not going to thaw it in the microwave. 3 pounds right there. Since we're having chicken Alfredo, I think broccoli makes the most sense for a vegetable. I used fresh broccoli and I just dumped water in this and microwaved it for like 10 minutes and then drained the water. I don't know if that's a right way to do it, but worked out. And I will make the other half on Thursday when I need to re-up on the broccoli. So this is about 160-ish grams per meal. So this will go into 3 of the containers evenly, along with the chicken breast. I'm going to disperse evenly between all 6 of these. Now I weigh all of them out to make sure they're within like 10 grams of each other. So one's not like crazy more than the other. So 202 grams, 228. I'll take some from that one likely, but I want to see which one weighs the heaviest. 240. 269. Nice. 206. 254. So some definitely needs to come from that one. They're all within 10, so we're good there. Don't need to obsess about it. If I was getting ready for a bodybuilding show, then maybe I'd try to be a little bit more precise, but we're just getting lean for the summer. Get body fat percentage pretty dang low, but I don't need to get down to like 5%. So it's going to balance itself out throughout the week anyway. We got to remember that your weekly total calories matter more than anything, but it is also important to get sufficient amount of protein on a daily basis. Boom, boom. So the chicken is distributed evenly for the next 6 days. Got half the broccoli prepped. The other one will be ready to go for Thursday when I just need to steam that in the microwave again, which will be very quick. And now I'm going to fire up the water for pasta because we're making chicken Alfredo while getting shredded. Let's go. I could make some sort of Alfredo sauce, but it's way more convenient to just buy the jarred stuff. But I want you to know that it's very important, the sauce that you do buy. There's a couple of them that are a lot more macro friendly and a lot lower in fat. And the one from Aldi is very low in fat. 3 grams of fat per 3 grams of carbs per 1 gram of protein. So in 61 grams, there's only 45 calories of this in this. And another really good brand that's low calorie is Classico. So those are the 2 that are actually very low calorie. And honestly, just the thought of eating chicken Alfredo, I don't know if those other ones would taste better, and you still can have those ones as long as you hit your numbers. But I like to save as much calories any way I possibly can, just so I can eat more volume throughout the day, because I like to eat a lot of food. So we're gonna have 150 grams of this one. Some of the ones I looked at were, there's like 9 grams of fat per 3 grams of carbs per 1 gram of protein, and that was the exact same serving size. So it can make a major difference in what your macronutrient profile is for the entire meal. So 150 grams and 47. I don't need to be this obsessive, but something satisfying about it. There, 150 on the dot. Now I'm just gonna mix it up in here, throw it back on the stove, get it nice and warm again, and then we're feasting. Oh, I can't wait. Might as well add a bunch of pepper. Some burger rub, just because. Okay, listen to the ingredients and let me know if this sounds good in chicken Alfredo. Salt, onion, spices, garlic, red bell pepper, chili pepper, maybe not, tomato powder. I don't know, maybe. I think it sounds good. for chicken Alfredo. I'm not gonna load up on it too much, but I think a little extra pizzazz, or pizzazz, whatever the word is, sounds nice. You cannot tell me that does not look epic. Just the fact that you can eat this and get shredded, like when you can enjoy the food. I talk about this all the time, but chicken Alfredo. I get so excited about this meal and it makes the process easy. So the macros for this one, and the main reason why I had my omelet, my first meal of the day, lower carb, is because when I have a pasta dish, I like to have plenty of pasta. So the macros for this meal are 972 calories, 69 grams of protein, nice, 103 grams of carbs, 17 grams of fat. When you think of chicken Alfredo, you think of something that's going to be pretty fatty, but when you choose one of the more macro-friendly Alfredo sauces, it can be very macro-friendly. So I had a lot of fat with my first meal today, and this one is lower fat. So nutrition does not have to be that difficult. Like, this is 4 ingredients right here. I have the broccoli, the chicken, and the sauce just ready to go. And then every single day I'm just going to make the pasta fresh just because I do work from home. But if I didn't work from home, I'd just cook all the pasta up front and just have them all in their containers, and I'd make it work. If I had to eat it cold, I would, because it would still be dang good. So that's meal number 2, and I will show you guys the last and final one. For the third and final meal of this meal prep, we have 8-ounce hamburger patties. I could have just browned all the hamburger together and dispersed it in between 5 meals, so I'd get 8 ounces per meal, but I'm just feeling patties for some reason this week. And also, one benefit of doing this is that you could just cook 1 patty at a time if you want to have it fresh every single day, because I know, like, warming up hamburger patties in the microwave isn't as tasty as it is compared to coming right off the grill. But I'm gonna make these in the air fryer because it was not thawed in time to cook with my chicken breast. And the other things I'm having with this meal, it's a very simple one, is 1 pound of russet potatoes. I'm gonna make them into French fries, and russet potatoes are the French fry, or the potatoes that you would use to make French fries, or that fast food places use to provide you French fries. So I'm gonna use 1 pound of these and 6 ounces of asparagus. So I'm gonna get the air fryer started to cook the patties first, and everything in this meal is actually gonna be cooked in the air fryer, which is kind of convenient, but it will take quite a bit of time. 400, sure. Honestly, just turn it on, get it cranking, watch it, look at it every now and then, flip the patties after so long, it'll cook. You don't need to obsess about time and temp like crazy. But I'd recommend having it over 350 degrees though. Hamburger patties going in. And for prepping the potatoes, I just weigh out like 2 to 3 of them that equal 16 ounces. It could take a little bit of time sometimes, but it's an easy way to go about it. This ended up being 15.8. So I'll probably add a little bit of ketchup or something just to make up for that. I don't know why, but I don't necessarily need to, but I just like being as precise as possible. It's good not to obsess though. Don't be obsessive. So I'm just gonna cut these into French fry like shape. And we need a little bit of olive oil, just 10 grams. It's very important to weigh your fat sources pretty dang precise because it's the most calorie dense macronutrient. And oil, like if you went over, the difference between like 10 grams and 15 grams is, how many calories would that be? That would be like 40 calorie difference, which is a lot. That's a big difference if you really break it down a lot, if you just wing it throughout the entire day. And we might as well use that burger rub for these fries as well. And I've honestly used this rub in burgers and I do not like it. Like, it just doesn't seem right, but it works well on other things. So I recommend it, but not necessarily for burgers. And Traeger is still not a sponsor. Add the seasoning, toss them up, wait for the burgers to finish, and then these will get air frying next. And then once I put these potatoes in the air fryer, I will toss the asparagus in. Like, there's gonna be a little bit of oil left on this plate, so I'll just mix it in there a little bit, and then when the potatoes are done, throw the asparagus in. See, then there's a little bit of oil residue there, and I weighed out the asparagus. There's 17 ounces there, which I tracked 6 ounces, so I guess I can adjust that. But since it's a vegetable, calories are not, like, to be as precise with the tracking the vegetables and very low calorie things, it's not that big of a deal. But after I cook this, I'll disperse it all into 3 separate containers, because that will get me about 5.67, yeah, 5.67 ounces per meal. So it's not quite 6, but 5.67. I'll adjust that just because for the video. But the calorie difference with that is probably like, I don't know, 15 calories, something like that, 20 calories. Burger patties are done. Honestly, really not bad compared to grilling them on the grill. The grill is still superior, but air fryer, if you don't have one, I don't know what the heck you're doing or what era you're living in. Asparagus time. Asparagus is done. Now I'm gonna weigh out all of it and divide that number by 3 so I can distribute it evenly, because the asparagus definitely lost some weight during the cooking process. So if I weighed out 5.67 ounces, I'd be getting more than 5.67 ounces of it raw. And the nutrition, I always like to track everything based on its raw weight, because that's going to be most precise. Because if you think about cooking chicken breast, when you put it on there, and if you overcook it, it loses a ton of its weight compared to it being raw. So if you weigh it after you already cooked it, it can be off depending on how like overcooked, or if you cook it perfectly and it's still juicy, it's gonna hold a lot more weight. So the most accurate way I've found to track, especially protein sources, is to weigh it raw and measure it raw. Because the nutrition label, when you do buy stuff like just packaged chicken and it has the nutrition facts on there, that's all based on how it's packaged. But with the bacon that I had earlier, on the packaging it clarifies pan fried slices. So it's based on how it's packaged unless it's clarified otherwise. Or do I say specified otherwise? Whatever, you know what I meant. Okay, so right on the dot, 400 grams. Crazy. Okay, I think that's 133. Like, that is unbelievable. I could make baked potatoes with the potatoes, but I just feel like having fries. Baked potatoes would be easier, but fries just sound good, and when you can enjoy the food you eat, like I said earlier, that much more sustainable. And French fries in the air fryer, on point, because are you kidding me? Like, French fries every day, along with chicken Alfredo every day, and then some bacon every day while losing fat. The process does not have to be that difficult if you implement the foods you love. So the macros for this entire meal are 873 calories, 58 grams of protein, 88 grams of carbs, and 33 grams of fat. I know a lot of you probably think that this would be higher carb because that's a lot of potatoes, but that's my favorite thing about potatoes. You can eat a lot of them. And if you like to eat large volumes of food, that's the #1 carb source I would recommend during your fat loss phases, or just in general. And one way that I'll adjust this meal throughout the week, when I do make the potatoes fresh every single day, maybe I'll only have 14 ounces of potatoes and save room for a little bit of ketchup one day. Because ketchup, the main calories in there come from carbs, and that can just replace some of the carbs from potatoes. So it's, as you track too, you're going to learn more about food and what each thing consists of. So my overall macros for this entire day are 2,491 calories, 191 grams of protein, 243 grams of carbs, and 82 grams of fat. And that is perfect numbers for me in order to burn fat. Everybody's different, so don't utilize these numbers to determine how much you should be eating. You need to utilize trial and error, and over time, it'll just become that much easier for you. You'll just know what your body responds best to, the specific numbers. And another thing that I want you guys to take away from this video is that you do not need crazy, extravagant recipes. Like, for example, this meal right here is 4 ingredients. You got the hamburger, asparagus, potatoes, and a little bit of olive oil. And then the chicken Alfredo. That's literally 4 ingredients as well. Like, I add seasonings too, but everybody has seasonings in the cupboard. Well, you should anyway. That one's chicken breast, pasta, Alfredo sauce, and broccoli. Like, how easy is that? And how tasty is that? Like, don't overcomplicate it, but also ensure that you do implement some of the foods that you really, really, really like. I hope you learned a little bit of something in this video, and remember, you're never off track. There's always something you can do to support your health and fitness. Cheers, Chug a Busch Light, Shotgun now. Go like, comment, follow. I appreciate you.